What's popping, y'all? This is exciting. This is exciting. This is exciting. I'm going to need everybody's back straight. We got to be paying attention, right? Because Spotify, they were putting up a bunch of different billboards saying, oh, rap needs new leaders or hip hop needs new leaders. Some people felt like, yo, this is some crazy promotion for the upcoming album Monica, which you should pre-order right now by Jack Harlow. I am not paid to say that whatsoever. I mess with Jack Harlow, especially his last album. And this one needs attention. He's been dropping some good stuff. So check that out when it comes out. With that being said, they finally unveiled who they believe will be leading hip hop. And this is the list that we got. And I'm going to explain why this is so exciting. This makes me so joyful because who we got so far? They put 8 artists that they see as leaders of hip hop's next wave, which, what does wave really mean? Baby Keem from Las Vegas, Baby Keem, let's keep it a buck. Is it too early to say? Nah, not too early to say for me. Casino's better than GNX, right? We're all in agreement here. I wonder how Kendrick stans are going to feel about that because they're like, well, yo, Baby Keem's tight with Kendrick, but like they're going to get discombobulated. Some cognitive dissonance is going on in their mind. They're going to take a while to type up a comment. But yes, we have Baby Keem, Casino, for sure one of the best projects that has released this year. We're only 2 months into the year, but that project is outstanding. I've been listening to it on repeat. I also gave a full-on, not review, but a track-by-track analysis of my first time listen, which you can find somewhere on my channel. I'm probably going to be too lazy to put it in the pinned comment. Let's be real here. But okay, Baby Keem, Las Vegas. There isn't much competition coming at Baby Keem from Vegas. Glorilla, Memphis, Tennessee, I mean, a lot of artists have come out of Memphis. Why are they putting a Glorilla instead of a Key Glock? I'm not sure. Now, when I say wave, when I hear the word wave, I'm thinking either these 8 artists are collectively a wave themselves, or these artists combined are the leaders of a wave that's coming out of their city. Glorilla, while she is a very successful artist coming out of Memphis, what artists are underneath Glorilla? Who can you even think of? Exactly. That's my point. Like when you put Cardi as in the next wave, you got Opium, right? You got Opium Baby. I think that's one of the guys. You had that duo. They weren't brothers. The Homicide Gang, right? You have Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and these guys came up. That's a wave that was coming from behind him. And you could even potentially say that the whole Yeet, especially initially, kind of came from that Cardi wave. You could say that, but we're not going to say that because we have a lot of respect for Yeet and how he's developed over the past 4 or 5 years. So that's what I'm thinking of wave. And these artists aren't really collaborating with each other like that, but okay. All right. Doechii. Dude, Doechii just hasn't dropped enough music, man. And that's where this list seems like it was curated by the people that run not Rap Radar. Whoa. The people that run the playlist, which are playlists dying? Rap Caviar. That's also a good question. How many people are even consuming? Someone needs to write about that. And by somebody, I mean me. Who else is going to do it? Somebody's got to step up to the occasion. So yeah, Doechii, how much music has she really dropped, man? In comparison to these other people, let's look at the depth of the catalog of a Baby Keem, of even a Glorilla, of, a Sexy Red. She's been dropping so much music. Doechii doesn't even scratch the surface of how much they've dropped. But if we're talking about accomplishments, I'm not upset with Doechii here. And she gets the same criticism, which is, where is the wave? Anyway, Central C, London, yeah, the guy's got a whole country on his back. He's got the UK on his back. He's consistent. He dropped a great album. He's constantly dropping music, and he's done a good job of staying relevant in the US, which is not easy to do. And he blew up with that song Doja Cat, which was just like a TikTok catchy little line, and he's parlayed that into sustained relevance. That is very impressive. So yeah, I have no problem with Central C there. Sexy Red from Missouri. How many St. Louis rappers do we really got? Sexy Red, I'm willing to say that she took over the wave of Glorilla. So yeah, if they're the wave of the new wave, because like I always say, Cupcake, she's got to get her credit for being in the 20 teens. She's the one that kind of brought forth that hoish, that real deal hoish energy. But Sexy Red kind of mixes it with the affinity towards gang life as well. I'm not mad at Sexy Red being on here. Rod Wave, St. Petersburg, Florida. And this is where they're putting locations. Are they just trying to take a location from every region? Or are they saying there's a burgeoning scene? I don't know about a St. Pete rap scene, to be fair. Rod Wave, yeah, he's one of the best artists in the game right now, like commercially successful, sure. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Rod Wave. Can't say anything bad about him, to be honest. The music's good. Everything's good. Lil Tecca, I like this pick. Lil Tecca has constantly, I forgot the stat. I was trying to ask his team if they could send it to me. But Lil Tecca, I believe he has constantly streamed more and more each consecutive year since he came into the game, which for a guy coming in for what some people considered a gimmick with, which it was in part aided, the gimmick aided in his blow up with Ransom to at 16 to doing very, very successful tours right now and having big songs. Like Dopamine was a great album. I actually went to one of the Lil Tecca shows. It was a great show. He's a good performer. And like New York, if you're thinking about like, yo, who's really popping it in New York and consistent, it's Lil Tecca. Like, yeah, A Boogie's from New York, and A Boogie's had bigger hits than Tecca, but A Boogie has not provided in the way that Tecca has. And Tecca's, if we're talking waves, like Tecca produced one of Sofago's, like he's done a lot of production. He's aided a lot of these underground artists in ways that are not publicized. So I support Lil Tecca, but I mean, I guess is it bias if I just like Lil Tecca's music? I think the guy belongs here. Big X the Plug, Dallas. You guys know I love Big X the Plug's music. Like the guy is just, and I also like, well, this doesn't have anything to do with being a rap leader, or a new wave. There is a Texas wave, but I'm wondering why they didn't put the Houston boy, Don Toliver, up there, because Don Toliver's dropped an outstanding album too. But regardless, this is like some people so fans can cast their vote for who's going to lead hip hop's next generation in the Spotify app starting February 25th. So I think this is good because this creates competition. Because what do we normally have? The freshman list. And these people, they're not freshmen. They've been in the game a couple of years. But at the same time, we have the freshman list, and then we have Spotify doing this, which this is clearly more corporatized. You notice how there's not a single independent artist on this list? Yeah, not one, of course. It's a corporate Spotify major label type deal, which is good. We need something like that. But at the same time, we had On the Radar who put on their new Rap's New Class cypher. And this cypher had the following artists on it. They had Marco Plus, Ruben Vincent, who I believe he's on Rock Nation, or he was on Rock Nation. This guy's talented. I've actually been listening to him for about 2 years or so. Overcast, I've seen this name, don't really know him. Marlon Craft, this guy's been grinding for a long time. Like this guy was doing freestyles with, what's his name? He's from New York, I think. He was doing freestyles on Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg was like, and I think on, if you guys remember, Sway. I think he was doing a freestyle on there. Ben Riley, I don't really know. Suave, this is where I'm talking about Rap's New Class, because Suave was originally signed. He was on Boominati. He's one of the early artists on Metro Boomin's label. So I'm like, is he a Rap's New Class? It's good to hear. He dropped the project years ago, maybe 5 years ago, dude, that I was listening to, and it was pretty good. He was a talented artist, but I hadn't heard much from him. Granted, I didn't check in on him much. So if he's like reinventing himself, okay. Nassan, I don't really know. L.A. Reezy or Lareezy, I don't really know either. Rayvon, of course, we saw the back and forth with Joey, and he's somebody that kind of took the launch pad of West Coast, Kendrick Lamar, and I believe he's a TDE signee, and he's like tried to run with it in the past year, which is good. I like what he's been doing. And Chris Patrick, who you could say On the Radar really like blew this guy up. Obviously his skill, but the On the Radar collaboration with Kai Cenat's Mafiathon 3, this guy was a standout. This list is clearly very, very different. Like it's funny because you see a lot of people talking that are like, yo, lyricism is back. You know, like this is what we needed. Okay, let's see. Because this is the thing. Like this is On the Radar is one of the biggest platforms. Like it doesn't get much bigger than On the Radar. And these guys are lyricists and they're doing ciphers. So if you're talking about, you know, mainstream platforms or these hip hop platforms, these new gens, they're not platforming real lyrics and real lyricism. Well, here's a platform on one of the biggest. And I do think this goes great with On the Radar's brand because it's freestyling. Lyricism is, you know, tied to it. So if these people don't blow up and they're not one of the biggest or they're not even in conversations of one of the biggest rappers, then it should show you that it's not the platform, it's the market. Like the market for a lot of this type of music is just not there on a broad scale. Can these people earn and have good and successful careers? Absolutely. But I'm tired of, it's not even old heads. It's just people with the closed-minded mentality that think that some industry is holding back this type of music from succeeding commercially. Then we've got a third thing going on. Well, actually the fourth, like we got the double XL freshman class, but we've got the third new one, which is Underground Sound. So Underground Sound is an underground hip hop page that posts a lot of people, and they've had their own Underground Sound cypher. And I thought I was a member of OVO the way I was just saying who when I'm just reading through this list. Like the only person that I had seen on this list, I mean, let me just read you guys the list. In this cypher, you had Holotip Hero, which is fire name, by the way. I mess with this name heavy. I know there's another rapper called like 7:30 at morning. That's like an okay name, but Holotip Hero, that hits. Captain Swag, Too Slimy. I've seen this guy's name before. He's also ended up being like the standout, negative or positive, but you always need an equal amount of negative and positive. Laid, 6 Bill, Matt Proxy, IVVYS, don't know any of these guys. Raining LOL, don't know that guy. Talon, where you at? I'm guessing. Don't know that guy. EA Lurie, don't know that guy. So I don't know any of these people. Damn near any of these people, except for the Too Slimy guy now, and I am for sure checking out Holotip Hero just based off of his name. The reason why this is so exciting to me is because these are clearly 3 distinct environments, listener bases, but they all fall underneath hip hop. And it gives a good image and snapshot of what hip hop is right now. And what everybody expected it to continue to be was just, oh, there's just this one centralized or concentrated fan base that listens to like all the different types of rap. But that's not the case. Like, as you can see, these all had their own fan base and people arguing and doing the back and forth. But now it's almost like you have different magazines that are competing and they each have their own list. And their own list is a bunch of different artists. And you can pick and choose and discover new people in a way that is organic. Because it's like, really, if you just saw a Captain Swag, for instance, what's the likelihood you're going to check them out? But if you hear a cypher and you're like, okay, there's a bunch of artists on the cypher, let me listen to the cypher. You can pick and choose which one you want to check out after that. And this creates great conversation for people involved in these subsections or sub-communities. And it gives Double XL freshman list some competition. This is healthy competition. Like underground, you have the people that are like, yo, we're messing with these artists. They're getting it out the mud. Nobody knows who they are. You've got the On the Radar one, which those guys are kind of in a similar vein to Underground Sound, that list. But these guys are the lyricists. These guys are the ones spitting bars. That's where you can find these guys. And then you've got Spotify with their list, which is like, hey, this is all the industry stuff. Like, you want to check out who's popping it in the industry, you can find them here. And Double XL, I wonder how they're going to separate themselves, because really, if people are doing the cypher format and we know exactly what we're going to get from these brands, what is Double XL going to give us? Because they're taking the cypher, they're remixing it, but it's taking the same formula. And Double XL just existed for such a long time based off of that formula because nobody else was really doing it. Like, yeah, we had BET cyphers that would happen after the award show, and those were moments in their own right, but that wasn't a consistent. Oh, that's kind of died out, really. It's not that it wasn't a consistent thing, because it was. So I'm interested to see how Double XL tries to combat this. Are they going to try? Because Double XL, seemingly, the past couple of years, they've tried to just capture every avenue of hip hop. Like, they'll try to get an underground rapper. They'll try to get, like, a female artist or two. They'll try to get people from every region and every sound. And it became kind of like a hodgepodge of people that didn't really mesh well together. But with these two, especially Underground Sound one and the On the Radar, like, these people feel like they're amongst their peers, and you can see it in the energy of both of these different ciphers. So I'm really looking forward to that. I am also wondering what Spotify is doing with the whole voting system. I do like that they're involved more with hip hop, but what features for the company as a whole are they testing on us with this? That's what I'm wondering. Not from a negative perspective, but just what's the bigger picture here? But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Who are you most interested in? Or which of these fits your personality and your taste best? And if you're an enjoyer, an enjoyer of culture, like I am, if you like all three of these, let me know. I just like seeing it just pictured and laid out. Like, this is what hip hop is now. And it's so diverse in sound and people and names. that we should be celebrating this a lot more. Like, yo, we're getting a lot. Let's be real here. It's just such a good time. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one.